Man, I don't want to do this shit. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Part 3 of the Llama Arts thing. This shit's recording, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Yeah, the smiling man. I just, you know what? I ain't gonna bitch about it. Yeah, y'all
About
wanted
5
part
years
3,
ago,
so here we
I
go.
lived downtown in a major city in the U.S.
Wait, hold on. I think I need a little bit louder. That's all that goes. That's crazy. I think we're gonna do a part 4. We'll see, though. We'll see. But I'm
I've
thinking,
always
like,
been a night person,
we'll need one
so I
more.
would often find myself bored after my roommate, who
Let
was
me know if y'all want
decidedly
that.
not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and spend the time thinking. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and never once had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommates that even the drug dealers in the city were polite. But all that changed in just a few minutes of one evening. It was a Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police-patrolled park quite a ways from my apartment. It was a quiet night, even for a weeknight, with very little traffic.
Like, I've already seen this one, so that's why, like, I'm not tweaking as bad about it. But, like, I don't know, if you know the story, it's like police patrolled park. Like, that shit's so irrelevant. I don't know, I just figured I'd say that. Like, it really is. Watch,
And almost no one on foot.
a
The
police
park,
patrolled
as
park.
it was
Okay, that
most
makes
nights, was completely empty. I went down a short side
no
street in order
difference.
to loop back down my apartment when I first noticed him. At the far end of the street, on my side, was the silhouette of a man dancing.
Bro, just like, I don't
It
know,
was a
man.
strange dance,
Just his movements.
similar to a waltz, but he finished each box with an odd forward stride. I guess you could say he was dance walking, headed straight for me. Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped as close as I could to the road to give him the majority of the sidewalk to pass me.
Nah, it's because I know what's coming up. Like, fuck. Just gives me the chills. It just creeps
The
me out.
closer he got, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving.
Man,
He
I
was
don't give a
very
fuck about that
tall
shit.
and
What the
lanky
fuck?
and wearing an old suit. He danced closer still, until I could make out his face. His eyes were open wide and wild, head tilted back slightly, looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile,
Bro, I
I
start
decided to
crying.
cross the street before he danced any closer.
I was so
I
tripping.
took my eyes off of him to cross the empty street. As I reached the other side,
Like, if I don't have,
glanced
like,
back,
some
and
protection
then
on me
stopped
too,
dead in my tracks.
like, I'd literally
He had
probably start
stopped
crying.
dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me.
Okay, no. Okay, see, before, like, I wouldn't literally cry. Like, I'd be really creeped out, though. Here, I'd probably start crying. Okay, like, realistically, probably not. Actually, maybe. No cap. I really don't know. Because, like, if I don't have, like, and I don't mean latex when I say protection. I don't know. I just be really creeped out. Like, for the bottom of my soul, I could tell you I'd be so tripped out right now. I don't know if I'd cry, but I'd probably for sure be on the verge. Like, in a way. Like, look. No
He
way.
was facing me, but still looking skyward.
Nah,
Smile
I'd probably
still
cry right there. I'd probably cry right there.
wide on his lips.
No way.
I was completely and utterly unnerved by this.
Miss me with that bullshit.
I
No
started
way.
walking again, but kept my eyes on the man. He
Nuh-uh.
didn't move. Once I had put about half a block between us, I
Do
turned
the
away
dash,
from him for a
man.
moment to watch the sidewalk in front of me. The street and sidewalk ahead of me were completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone.
No,
For the
no,
briefest
no,
of
no, no,
moments, I
no.
felt
No,
relieved
please stop.
until I noticed him. He had crossed the street and was now slightly crouched down. I
Bro, I got
couldn't
so
tell
many-
for sure due to the distance and the shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I had looked away from him for no more than 10 seconds,
It's so dark.
so it was clear that he had moved fast. I was so shocked, and I stood there for some time, staring at him, and then he started moving toward me again. He took giant, exaggerated, tiptoed steps, as if he were a cartoon character sneaking up on
That
someone,
motherfucker was doing
except
the
he was
race.
moving very, very quickly.
Nah, bro. Keep
I'd
the
like to
fuck
say at
going.
this point that I
Why are
ran
you still
away or
there?
pulled out my pepper spray or cell phone or anything at all, but I didn't. I just stood there, completely frozen, as the smiling man crept toward me. And then he stopped again, about a car length away from me, still smiling his smile, still looking to the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. What I meant to ask was, "What the fuck do you want?" in an angry, commanding tone. What came out was a whimper. What the fuck? Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, they can certainly hear it. I heard it in my own voice. That only made me more afraid. But he didn't react to it at all. He just stood there, smiling. And then, after what felt like forever, he turned around,
Dude,
very slowly, and started...
like, I already heard this story. Like, I already heard it. I've already seen this animation, and yet I have goosebumps up the fucking ass. Like, I don't think... Like, I know you don't understand. Like, it's
Dance walking
insane. I don't
away.
know why.
just
It's
like
fucking
that.
bright as shit
Not
out.
wanting to turn my back to him again, I just watched him go, until he was far enough away to almost be out of sight.
Like, I know what's coming up. That's
And
what,
then I
like,
realized
that's what's
something.
making me tweak more.
He wasn't moving away anymore, nor was he dancing. I watched in horror as the distant shape of him got bigger and bigger. He was coming back my way. He was coming back my way.
Why are you still there,
And this
dog?
time he was running. I ran too. I ran until I was off the side road and back onto a better lit road with sparse traffic. Looking back,
I'd for sure start crying there. That's when I'd for sure start crying.
I kept glancing over my shoulder, always
Oh,
expecting
fuck.
to see his stupid smile, but he was never there. I lived in that city for 6 months after that, and I never went out for another walk. There was something about his face that always haunted me. He didn't look drunk. He didn't look high. He looked completely and utterly insane. And that's a very, very scary thing to see.
Two more?
So me and a
Maybe?
couple of my buddies went camping last summer alongside the Willamette River. We actually had a decent hike into the deep end of the woods. We did some night fishing, listening to music, and basically drank to the point where everything was funny later in the night. I would guess we finally called it a night somewhere past 2 a.m. I shared a tent with one of my buds, while the other two shared another tent. We heard them laughing about something. At first we laughed at the sound of their laughing, but it soon got annoying and we yelled for them to shut up. One of them responded, "It isn't us." I sat up, startled at the response. I came to realize that it was the sound of only one person laughing, and it didn't sound like either one of my friends. Even in my drunk state, I realized how odd it was for somebody to be out this far in the woods so late at night.
That shit would sober me up so quick.
The laughing gradually got closer and louder to our
Don't do drugs. Or alcohol. Is alcohol a drug? I'm pretty sure alcohol is a type of drug. Don't do drugs.
campout. My friend shot up and looked at me with a worried look on his face.
Sobriety is key.
I heard my other
Abstinence
friend
is
scream over to us
dope.
that they were getting freaked out. As the laughing got even closer, I could make it out very clearly to be the laugh of a male, probably in his 30s or 40s. He sounded like he was as drunk as us, messing around with friends, but we only heard his laugh, nobody else. There was something indescribably creepy about his laugh, too, as if it was missing something to it. You had to be there to understand what I mean. The laughing was now just at the edge of our campsite. But we couldn't hear any footsteps at all. Now that may not seem like a big deal. It was impossible to move through that without making noise. And finally, all of a sudden, the laughing stopped completely. We had no idea where whoever that was standing, as he hadn't made a single stepping sound. We sat there in silence looking at each other. My friend was clearly freaking out, but he was keeping it together the best he could. Finally, something broke the silence. The sound of something rubbing against the cottony fabric of the tent. We saw the outline of a hand through the moonlight, pressing on the tent. We both screamed at the top of our lungs before getting out of the tent. We ran as fast as we could through the woods, our other friends following us. After about 5 minutes of running, we somehow found our car. I actually puked from running so much before taking the wheel. I don't condone drinking and driving, but I still believe we were just in this situation. By far the most horrific experience of my life. No idea who or what the hell that was, or what they wanted.
I'm going to show you how men are going from this to this. This soap will change your skin
What
in just
the
weeks,
fuck?
and here's how.
I did not need to see that picture. I did not need to see that, like, whatsoever. What the that shit was out with my consent. Nightmares that read into reality. Oh, that's a good title.
I was having a horrifying dream.
Can y'all
Possibly the most
hear the freeway? I think y'all can. My bad.
disturbing nightmare of my life. I was in my house, or the closest thing to my house that my dream could produce. Ironically enough, I was in bed in this dream, or at least I can only start remembering past the point of my lying in bed. And all of a sudden, the sound came from downstairs. I walked downstairs in the dark, not turning on any lights, to where I thought the sound was coming from. I was on my middle floor now. The dream was telling me to go downstairs to my laundry room, and so I did.
What?
But as I got there, expecting the noise to be louder and closer, it sounded like it was just as far as before. Now I was going upstairs to the kitchen, and it's strange. Outside of every window was complete blackness. Not general nighttime darkness. There was nothingness. I think all that existed in this dream was my house. Now my dream started to suggest that the banging sounds were coming from upstairs, so I went back upstairs and was eventually led to the attic door. It was surely beyond that door. I opened it.
It's got toxic
There was an
waste.
old woman standing by a bunch of boxes. She was slowly but loudly slamming her hand on one of the boxes, producing an unnatural sound. I tried to quietly step back away from the attic, but the old woman turned around, opened her mouth twice as wide as anyone humanly could, reached out her arms, began to scream, and leaped toward me. That's when I woke up.
Whoa.
I thought it was just a horrific dream, but when I
Yo,
heard a
that
bang
animation was
coming
actually
from
pretty
up,
bad.
it
No
began
cap.
to scream
Nah,
and
oh
leap
my God.
toward me.
Nah, yo, what the fuck?
Anyone humanly could.
Like, when the guy said twice as wide, I was like, okay, the animation is gonna be kind of like goofy, cause, like, you know, so it'd be like something like this. I was like, twice as, but that shit is not twice as wide. I don't know
Reached
how
out
the
her
fuck that
arms.
motherfucker does math. That was pretty good. That was pretty
Began
good.
to scream and
That's
leap
the
toward
fuck
me.
is that?
That's when I woke up.
Anyways,
I thought it was just a horrific dream, but when I
can y'all see it? Like, I know you can't. There's no point. My
heard a
shit's been
bang coming
tweaking
from
the whole-
downstairs,
This whole video.
a bang similar to what I heard in my
Oh
dream,
fuck no.
I felt my heart completely drop.
Actually, no. Do y'all have that too? It's like in your dreams, like your mind uses stuff that you hear in the real world at the moment, and implements it into the dream. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like say someone's trying to wake you up, like your dream will make that shit fit somehow. You could be like just fucking in the middle of nowhere, just blasting motherfuckers, but then your mom will say, you know, like, I don't know, we'll just say wake up, and then in your dream, somehow, someway, in the most bizarre way, it doesn't matter how crazy, how, like, contrasting those two things are, your dream and, like, the noise you're hearing, it'll, like, make it fit. I'm just ranting for no fucking reason. But you get,
On
you know
my
what I'm
way
saying?
downstairs, there
This
was
is
another
the craziest
bang.
thing, basically.
It was the front door. I got the butcher knife from my knife holder in the kitchen and crouched behind the door. I was waiting for the next time he would pound on the door, and I would warn him to go away. I waited for a good minute in silence, and finally decided to take a quick look through the window. There was somebody standing in my driveway. I couldn't tell if he was facing me or looking at me or not, but he was surely the one who was pounding on my door at 4 in the morning. He walked away down the sidewalk moments after he must have noticed me. The pounding on my door was the kind of pounding you would expect from someone trying to break in a door, not to get a house owner's attention. I thought it was just crazy and horrifying that the pounding and banging from this potential robber or killer didn't wake me up, rather became the key point to a horrifying dream.
Nah, it's not that crazy. That happens to me all the time. Nah, it's not that crazy. Nah, okay, wait. What's... I think we'll end it here. yeah, we'll end it here, and then the next time it'll just be. I'm not gonna make this shit 5 episodes, 5 parts. If y'all want another part, let me know, and we'll crank out the next. You know what I'm saying, like the last part of the video in part 4. But yeah, that last thing, it's not so crazy.